Alicia.
I'm going to start off with the class photo.
That's how we feel sometimes.
So you can see everybody but me. But since you can see me right here, that should be good, right? We agree? Do we agree?
Yes.
Okay. So this is our class, right? I chose to write everyone's name on there just to see how good I was with everybody's names. So now I know I will never forget you guys. As you can see, I colored people's noses purple. And those people, if you guys don't realize it yet, these are people that did not finish with us. So they get purple noses, right? I don't know, maybe I was bored. Anyhow. So I'll leave that up there while I continue with my speech. So I'm going to start with my speech 5, which is a speech that I missed. And I chose to go to the nursing home and actually sing to the elderly. And that was, for me, it was hard. It really was. Once we finished singing, there was a lady there, and she was sitting there the whole time. She looked like she was fine for the whole hour. And then once we got ready to leave, she just started crying, and she was crying so hard. And I didn't know if it was because she, didn't want us to leave. Because you gotta imagine how lonely, people get, especially being used to being around your family and raise your kids and things like that, and then all of a sudden you stuck up in this nursing home and people kind of forget about you. And you have to just remember that they love you, but at the same time it's kind of hard. It's the same situation with religion at times. So that was really hard for me, doing that. But I did enjoy the songs that we did. One of the songs that we sung was it was something about daisies, and it was the guys were singing a certain part, and then the women came back and answered them, and the whole bottom line was like, if you don't have a job, then we're not going to talk. So that was fun. It was some old school stuff, very old school. The next thing I want to talk about was my expectations of the class. So when I started the class, everyone's saying like when they started the class, they like wanted to go drop out and stuff like that. But when I started the class, I was like, okay, this is what it is, and I was, in acceptance. Mr. Venditti did seem very elusive. He did. I felt like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to pass this class. I had an English teacher that he reminded me of, and I did pretty well in her class, but I'm like, this is not English. So, and I'm good with writing and things like that. So anyhow, I decided to go ahead and go through the class as soon as I got here. And at that point, during this quarter, things got really rough for me. And I almost wanted to quit, like forget it, because you know how things are. But I didn't, because once I realized, like I said, okay, once I started the class, I said I was going to do it no matter what. So hey, I said I'm just going to push through it, and that would bring me to my thoughts of the week. And I went back and went through my thoughts of the week. I noticed that for the first 4 weeks, I was encouraging myself. Like, I can do it. And then like the second week, I'm like, I'm doing it. Yeah, I got it. And the third week was like, I started getting really philosophical. I was like, it's better to know that you're great than to wonder if you are. I made that up myself. I was very proud of myself for that. So by the 5th week, that's when I started kind of being comfortable. And it was amazing to me that like I had basically wrote all of this down, and it was kind of a map of how my quarter went. So that was cool. And my speech that I think I was just the worst on, I wish I could just did that whole day over, was why you should hire me. I tried so hard to get it together, but for some reason it just would not come together. I mean, I bought a poster board and I bought all these really expensive poster markers, and I'm sitting here and I'm drawing and coloring and drawing, and then I looked at the time and I'm already late to class, and I had been working for that poster board for like 2 days. So I really just couldn't get it together, and by that time I was just really out the door. So if I had an opportunity to do that speech over Mr. Venditti, I would. But one of my favorite speeches, actually it wasn't a speech. It was for the one of the live community speeches that I did was the Clover Park American Idol contest, and that was if you participated in a contest, then that would be considered one of your live community speeches. So I jumped on that right away. So I can get a grade for it. Plus I can sing. It's something which I love to do anyhow. So I was like, I'm going for it. So I'm gonna kind of recap on that. I started out at the American Idol contest, and it was like around maybe about 20, 25 contestants. And so like I'm really nervous, and then the room was full of people, and I'm like, wow, I was very, very nervous. And then I saw Bill and the other guy, he was there, Patrick, yeah, he was there, and so that kind of made me feel more at ease. But I still was nervous, and I have sung before, but I was just really nervous. I'm like, this is not a church thing. At church, if you sing, oh, it's okay, baby, it's gonna be okay. You can mess up, it's still gonna be okay. Everybody gonna say you did a wonderful job, anyhow. But so I'm like, okay, I'm here at American Idol contest, and let's go, let's do it. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, everybody's like, they don't want to be the first contestant. They don't want to be the first contestant. And I'm like, well, I know they're not going to make me the first contestant. Oh my gosh, I was the very first contestant. I'm like, I didn't get to see my competition. There was no icebreaker. I was the icebreaker. It was really, really, really hard for me. But the only thing I'm thinking is like, okay, since I can't see my competition, I have to give a competition. So that the other contestants would work harder or mess up or be that nervous, something like that. Anyhow, that's what I was trying to do. So I got up there, did my thing, and then I was happy to be done. Bill got up there and he did his thing, and you would never know that he was nervous at all. He got up there and was just like, he owned the stage. The whole thing was just for Bill. So that was cool. The next thing I want to talk about is what I've read that's made me a better person. The only thing I want to speak on as far as that was week 1. And that was when I read out of the TNS. It was the person who is always complaining becomes a complainer. The person who is always lying becomes a liar. The person who is always encouraging becomes an encourager. And then it asks the question, what am I becoming in this life? So, yes, if that doesn't change anybody, because after reading that, like it's constantly in my head, what's coming out of my mouth. So that was something I wanted to share. Maybe, it would help some other people along too. And that was one of the things that, while going through this first quarter, like I said, if things did get a little rocky, that was one of the things that helped me through. It's like I can't voice it because whatever is going on, I don't want to become that. I have to, basically speak it into existence of what I want, My 1-page reaction. And I said I was just going to read this verbatim. I know that a lot of you don't know me, and I am such a blessing to know. So I was going to open up, I'm going to open up a lot, and let you guys in on some secrets. As I watched myself in the third speech, I was amazed and I was proud at the same time. I honestly looked as if I was confident and educated. And those are 2 characteristics I always wanted, but I never really thought I had.